I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 45, Letting Go of the How. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. So last week, I talked to you about your future self. I talked about what's possible out in the future. And I shared with you some news and some work that I've been doing with this in regards to having a baby, and shared some other examples of holding on to the things that we want, but also not quite knowing how and how to let go of that. Okay. So today, that's what I'm going to talk about. So I heard this first from Jody Moore. She said, "How is none of your business." And I think that she is spot on. We want to know it all, right? We want to have all the answers. Our brains crave certainty. We want to know exactly how things are going to go. And not knowing can feel very, very uncomfortable. Well, that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how to kind of ease your mind and lean into the possibility without knowing exactly how things are going to work. So I am going to be giving some examples, some personal examples, some client examples, some thoughts to think about, and I'm going to give you some concrete ways to do this, concrete ways to make things happen for you without knowing how. Okay, so I want to ask you first, I want you to think about something. I want you to think about something that you have made happen in your past, okay? Maybe it was deciding to have children. Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was marriage. Maybe it was moving to a certain location. Maybe it's taking up a new skill, a new hobby, something that you wanted to learn. You had to decide that you wanted that, and you had to decide that you're going to go for it, even if maybe you didn't know how. So here's the thing, my friends, you already know how to do this. You just maybe don't know it, okay? So I want you to think about something that you made happen. You might have thought that it was going to go a certain way. And as you look back on it, it probably didn't, right? It probably didn't go the way that you thought it would, but it worked, right? You still got the end result of the thing that you wanted, even if it didn't look the way that you thought that it would, right? So I want you to think now of something that you want in the future. What is it? What's something that you want? For many of you, this is something I hear from many of you. You just want to feel at peace. You want peace. You want to feel better. You've tried lots of different things, yet your brain still feels loud and maybe quite the opposite of peaceful, but you really, really want it. Okay. So I would want you to hold on to that and listen to what I say today. And it might not be peace. It might be something else. I want you to just consider what it is that you want. And I want you to think about how you can apply the things that I talk about today to the thing that you want. Now, many of us, what we do is we think, yeah, peace, that would be good, or whatever it is. It could be a tangible thing. It could be a dollar amount, a certain job, whatever. Well, many of us sometimes just kind of put it outside ourselves, like, one day I'm just going to feel better. One day this is just going to work out. And I don't know why it hasn't worked, but someday it will. And sometimes we just give up because we think I've tried all the things and it still isn't happening. Well, I'm hoping that the things that I teach you today will help you to accomplish and receive and achieve the things that you want. That's what I hope for you today. Now, here's the thing, okay? There are things that we want and things that we think are going to happen, But there is so much that we don't know. In fact, the older I get, the more I realize that I know much less than what I know, right? Isn't that humbling? Like, I know so many fewer things than what I do know. What I do know is that sometimes circumstance change. In fact, I can bank on it, right? I can think that things are going to go a certain way and then realize that they don't go that way. As far as marriage goes, some of you who are staying married to your spouse, we often think, well, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I'm going to see what he does and see what changes, see what shifts. And we wait and kind of put the outcome of the thing that we want on their shoulders. Like, I'll feel peace when, dot, dot, dot. I'll feel better when, dot, dot, dot. But the problem is that we're putting that outcome outside of ourselves and giving the full responsibility of your emotions to them. We don't know if our spouse is going to change or not. Let's say that you're not married anymore. We don't know if he's going to stay in the marriage. We don't know if something else will happen that will prompt you to leave the marriage. Like, there are always changing circumstances, right? But the important piece here is that you know the goal that you are wanting. So going back to what I talked about last week, I talked about your future self. You are holding on to the end result that no matter what is going to happen, and you are letting go of needing to know exactly how it's going to happen. Because I promise you, my friends, we will be wrong every time. Every time. We think we'll know what it's going to look like, we're wrong. Okay. So I'm going to give you a few examples of some things that I have learned. One of them, the first one I'm going to give you, is about an experience I had last year in growing my business. So I started my business. I started coaching in 2019, and then last year I decided that I had this goal that I was going to make $50,000. That was my goal. And as many of you know, I have many children. Last year I had 6 kids living at home. Year before that, I had 8 kids living at home. When we married, we had 10 kids living at home, right? Like, there's always moving circumstances, lots of moving parts. And so I've been fine with like slow and steady growing my business, right? Last year, I decided that I wanted to hit 50,000. Now, this is what I want to say. I also had in my mind and wrote down and talked about and shared and made very vocal that I just knew that I was going to build a 6-figure business. I just knew it. And I would say to my husband, I don't know how, I don't know exactly when, but I know it's coming. I know that it's coming. So last year, I started out the year much like I did the year before. I was coaching, I had some clients, and I had gone through this program that was wonderful that I'm going to just give them a shout out. It's called the Coaching Collective. It's fantastic. For any of you listening who are coaches or have the desire to be coaches, go check it out, thecoachingcollective.com. I had gone through this program and it was so, so good, so powerful. And I'd gone through it in 2019. In 2020, the 2 owners of that asked me if I'd be interested in doing some contract work for them. And I was all over it because I loved the program so much that I thought it would be super fun to work inside their program and to grow to grow myself in that capacity doing contract coaching work. And so I was growing my own business while doing some things for their business. I did some coaching in there. Now the main thing that I was asked to do was to help them grow their program. And so I would do calls with people. People would schedule calls to learn more about the program, and I was the person on the other end that would be talking to them about their program and answering questions. And they had given me a goal of what they wanted me to hit. They wanted me to sign 50 people to their program. And it felt daunting. It felt big. And it was quite a bit more people than what they had signed before at any one time. Now, what I did is I I owned that goal. Even though it wasn't even my business, I acted like it was. I acted like that result was on me 100%, and no matter what, I'm going to hit it. And you know what? It was tough. There were many times where I'm like, I mean, even like close to the close date, when the doors were shut, we weren't quite there. And I just knew it was possible. I knew that we could do it because I knew what a fantastic program this was. And I would kind of get lost and, well, I can't make them sign. I can't make people do it. And then I'd go back to, I know this is possible. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And in the end, I signed 51 people to this program. Now, at the same time, here's the magic that happened. Okay. At the same time, I was learning some things and my thoughts were shifting. You know what I was learning? I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at sales. I'm pretty good at talking to people about coaching. I'm pretty good at coaching. And like my thoughts started to shift. And guess what happened? My own business blew up. I had people signing all the time. I had people booking consults with me for my business. And I had these new thoughts that I'm good at this. I'm good at this. And guess what happened? I ended up closing out the year at over $100,000. I had no clue at the beginning of the year that that is how I would end my year. No clue. I did know that I was going to hit 50,000 and I doubled it. And I learned so much from that experience that I'm going to come back to in a little bit. Okay. Another example is launching this very podcast. So this is episode 45. I remember when I launched my first episode, I launched 3, I guess, when I first launched. I launched it with 3 episodes thinking, gosh, it's going to be a lot to record a podcast every single week forevermore. Like, I hope I don't run out of stuff to say. What if I do? What if people get bored, right? And what I knew going into it is I wanted to make something that I could help people all over the world for free, that they could listen to whenever they want, wherever they are, that I could help people for free. That is why I created this podcast. And I had that in my mind, in my heart, like that it mattered. And so I committed to it. I committed to, no matter what, I'm going to crank out a podcast every single week. Now, the only exception I've made for that is the week of Christmas. I did not release a podcast, but every other week I have not missed. And the thing that's beautiful about it is that it's gotten easier and easier because I'm committed to it. It's gotten easier and easier because I've practiced, right? Because I've been doing it. This is number 45. There's this saying that you probably have heard called necessity is the mother of invention. To me, it was necessary, not optional. It is necessary to put out a podcast every week. You know why? Because I love you, because I care about my listeners. And I know that consistency matters. I know what it's like when you're in the trenches and like holding on for like, you know, you're wanting that spark of hope. You're wanting that spark of encouragement. And I care about you. I care about my listeners. And so it is necessary for me. It is not optional to just skip weeks. And so that necessity has become the mother of invention. It has sparked in me so much creativity. I have so many ideas of things that I want to talk about with you, of people I want to bring to you. And I love that I get to hear from some of you that when you tell me the things that you want me to talk about, bring it. I love it. I love hearing from you. Okay, next, example 3. Okay, this is about a current client of mine. So she booked a consult with me and she said to me, I know that I need to work with you. I know that I need to. No matter what, I need to work with you. So we had our consult, we scheduled the date. This is when we're going to start. She said, I have no clue how I'm going to pay. I don't have the money. I have no idea how I'm going to pay, but I know that I need to work with you. And the day came and she said, I don't have the money yet. Please don't fill my spot. I will be there next time, next week. So the next week, the night before, I hadn't heard from her. And she said, I just paid in full. I will be there in the morning. So I got on the call with her, first call, and you know what she says to me? She says, "You'll never believe what happened. I knew I needed to work with you. I knew that I needed to make it happen." And she said that she just stayed open to possibility. She was looking at different ways, different things she could do. And then guess what happened? Right before, like within a day or two of when we were supposed to start, she got a notification from the IRS saying that they had overpaid in taxes and it had the exact amount that she needed to pay for coaching. This same client has completely changed her life in front of me. She completed her 6 months with me, and then she signed for another 6 months because she has had such a transformation in the time that we've worked together. So many changes for her. I tell you this because I watched her set her intention. She said, "No matter what, this is what I want. This is what I want. I'm making it happen." And there is something magic about putting our stake in the ground and saying, "I matter, and no matter what, this is going to happen. No matter what." Okay, so now I want to just talk about how these things happen. What happens? How did those things happen? How do you let go of the how? Okay, step number 1 is decide and make it non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable. It is happening no matter what. So for example, in the example of signing 51 people, I decided this is happening. It is happening. It's non-negotiable. No matter what. With the podcast, no matter what. With this client of mine, she decided, no matter what, this is what I'm doing. I can think of lots of other examples from my own life and from the lives of my clients where they have leaned into this of non-negotiation. It is happening. For me, another one was when I decided to get divorced. Like I knew that it was what I needed to do. I knew in my gut that it was correct, that it was the thing that I needed to do to move myself forward, to move my children forward, even for my first husband. Now, keep in mind, I had been a stay-at-home mom always. He was a lawyer. He made really good money. And yet, I knew that I needed to do it. I knew that I may end up needing to go get a job at McDonald's. I did not know what the outcome would be financially, except that I knew I needed to end the marriage. That's what I knew. That was non-negotiable. I was not going to let the fear of what the money situation would be determine that decision. I moved forward. And I tell you what, there would have been absolutely no way of knowing how it would turn out. No way of knowing. I would have had no clue of what would actually transpire, right? Okay, number 2, the second thing to do to let go of how is take full responsibility of the result. I am 100% responsible for this result. I don't know exactly how I will accomplish it, but I know I will. Now, keep in mind, your brain will want to shift blame to other people for not having the result. I just don't have the money. I don't have the time. I can't make them sign, no matter how awesome the program is. I mean, those are all thoughts that I could have had, right? I can't do this because I don't know what I'm going to do financially. Like always think about something that you want and how quick your brain is to make excuses. That's what our brains do, right? A big one for me is, I can't eat as healthy as I want because my husband brings junk food into the house and my kids don't want to eat what I want to eat and blah, 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 right? I can come up with 10,000 excuses. I am suggesting taking full responsibility of the result, owning that result. No matter what, I'm making this happen. No matter what. Now, what that means is that you're willing to let people be wrong about you. What that means is you're allowing people to feel uncomfortable with you, like in saying, this is what I'm doing, and letting people feel what they're going to feel because you're more committed to the result than to catering to their feelings, right? You care more about your feelings, not in a way to throw them under the bus, but in a way to commit to this thing that you know that you want and that you know is yours to have, okay? Number 3, practice releasing the how. Practice talking to yourself about what I said early on about the how is none of my business. The how is none of my business. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Okay. You can breathe into it. You can practice it. It can become like a mantra. Now, what is your business? And where I want you to focus your brain is in being clear on where you're going and your commitment to getting there. Practice that. Practice that all the time. Where am I going and what am I willing to do to get there? Now, for many of you, you have situations where okay, so first of all, let's say that you are deciding to stay married. Okay, let's say you know that you want to stay married. You might not know right now how it's going to be okay to stay married and feel peaceful. You know that it's what you want, but it seems impossible that you're going to feel peaceful. Well, guess what? You hold on to that commitment and the way will show up. You keep trying, you keep practicing, but you use these steps to take full responsibility for your own results. If you want to stay in your marriage and be at peace, we don't give that to the other person. You hold on to that. You get to create that result. You practice what it takes. You practice becoming the person that feels peace. You get the help that you need. I'm going to say something here. I talk to many of you on consults. I talk to many of you. And here's something that I see is people get on, like, I think I want some help. I like your podcast, this and that. But when it comes to actually committing to the time, committing to the price, cold feet. And you know what? No judgment. I completely understand. But what breaks my heart is when people know that they want to work with me. They know that they do. They know that it would be useful to them. And they're like too afraid to talk to their spouse about the price. They're too afraid to pull the funds from some other place, like a savings account or whatever. They're afraid of that. And so they drop the thing that they really want and that they think that would help them the most for the temporary comfort of avoiding the, discomfort of talking to the partner or of wondering, like, how am I going to come up with this money? Right? I see this all the time. And going back to the client who did not have the money, I could have said, oh, well, don't worry, I can do it for half the price, or I can do it for this, I can do it for that. And what I have learned in my time of coaching is that is not in service of my clients. It does not serve them, because there's something magic that happens when I am committed to serving at a high level and when they are committed to showing up at a high level. We are both all in. Magic happens. Magic happens when we're both all in. Okay? So back to what I was saying about releasing the how. All of you have things that you want. Some of you want to stay married. Some of you know that you want peace. You know that you want to free yourself from the turmoil that you feel. And you might know that part of that for you is ending the marriage. You might know that what you actually want is to be free from the marriage that you're in. And you might try to change your thoughts. You might try to say, oh, well, I can stay here and I can tolerate it and it's okay. And I do love him and I know that he loves me. And, I never tell people ever like what to do, like if they should end their marriage or stay in their marriage or anything like that. That is none of my business, right? Not at all. That's none of my business. But what I do encourage you to do is to hold on to the thing that you want most and release yourself of the how. If it's peace that you really want, if it is having a home where there is not friction every single day, guess what? Part of your how might be allowing a relationship to end. That might be part of the how. And you might not know exactly what that will look like or how it will transpire, but it might be, my friends. Sometimes relationships are meant to be completed. I'm not encouraging you either way. I'm saying when you hold on to the thing that you want, I'm asking you to be open to where it takes you. Okay. Be open. Allow yourself to be open. That's exactly what I'm doing with this baby, is going, well, I did not plan on it at all. And it totally changes the trajectory of my life and my husband's life. We're going to be well into our 60s when this baby is 18. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to get the help that I need so that I can continue to do the work that I do. I don't know right now, but I know that I want to do both. And I know that instead of panicking or instead of being mad or being afraid or any other thing that is not useful, it is not going to help me find a solution, right? Instead of doing those things, I am like holding this open space that I will have those things, and that the way that it's going to happen is going to show up, and that I don't need to know exactly how right now. I just need to keep open, and I need to keep moving forward. Okay, my friends. So I hope that this has been helpful for you today. The how is none of your business. When you open yourself up, when you take full responsibility for the things that you want, when you decide and make it non-negotiable, it is non-negotiable. It is your right to want what you want. You get to want what you want just because you want it. Okay? Own it, my friends. Own what you want. I sure love you, and I will be back with another podcast next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.